Ladies and gentlemen, public transit in America is falling and it's falling fast. Since the pandemic, they have never ever returned back fully. And now they have fewer riders and less cash coming in, and the crime is going up. Now, things have dramatically changed since the lockdown. If you remember, a lot of people started working from home that might have gotten up and gone to work in 2019. There's still a lot of people in this country working from home. And you also have people that stopped riding because they feared getting infected. So they won't take public transportation anymore. So things are different now, and public transit is now not as good as it used to be. It's definitely not at 2019 levels. So several of the nation's largest urban mass transit systems are at a crossroad, with ridership still depressed 3 years into the pandemic and federal aid is running out. While offices have largely reopened and travel has resumed, many commuters are coming in fewer days a week. Now, some people are on a hybrid level where they work a few days from home and a few days they have to go into the office. So that still means public transportation is used less. All right. So the shift have left subways, buses, and commuter trains operating at well below capacity, particularly Monday through Friday. And Monday through Friday is when they had their biggest clients, riding a bus. So ridership falls short and is forcing transit authorities to question their decades old funding models for buses, subways, and trains, which are based in a combination of rider fares and public money. On average, fares provided about a third of the operating income for transit systems nationwide in 2019. This is according to the Federal Transit Administration. In major cities such as New York and San Francisco, transit authorities have been leaning on emergency funding to plug budget holes and prop up operations. In all, Congress approved $69 billion in separate bills for relief in 2020 and 2021. But those funds are dwindling, leaving transit officials grappling with budget shortfalls and seeking new ways to fund existing service. The ridership dropped also has fueled an increase in transit crime, which in turn has pushed away more riders. The more you lose a ridership base, the more difficult it becomes to maintain a level of service that people are used to. So in New York City, the Metro Transportation Authority has disclosed plans to cut some of the Monday through Friday service and increase rider fares this year. Wow. They're going to cut the service and charge you more. Yeah, that sounds like America. New York subway system has regained about two-thirds of its pre-pandemic ridership, with about 91 million trips in November, according to MTA. But that's about 50 million fewer riders in November compared to November of 2019. So officials worry usage has stalled out at that level. In San Francisco Bay Area Rapid Transit, or BART, recorded 3.7 million trips in November, a little more than a third of the ridership before the pandemic. Systems in Chicago, Philadelphia, and Boston also remain short of their pre pandemic user numbers, deepening financial strains. cities such as Dallas and Cincinnati, where public transit budgets are mostly funded through sales tax revenue and more people commute by car, user decline haven't hit as hard. In the US overall, 883,000 fewer people took public transportation in the third quarter of 2022 compared with the same time period in 2019. According to federal data gathered by the American Public Transportation Association, the decline is particularly acute among so called choice riders, people who have access to vehicles but choose to use mass transit. Yeah, those people are just driving their cars now. For New York City transit system, the nation's largest by usage, changing the ridership pattern is having a big impact. Before the pandemic, subway usage peaked on weekdays when extra trains were put in service to accommodate rush hour crowds traveling to business districts in Midtown and downtown Manhattan. Yeah. Yeah, they're showing some of the pictures from 2019 and what it looks like now. Boy, what a difference. Ooh, what a difference. Ridership is now recovering in working class neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx than at subway stations in those business districts. Driving the Driving the drop in midtown and downtown users is a loss of office workers. Yes, because so many people are working at home now. Some of them are going to the office just 3 days a week instead of five. Mark Fox at Tag Trader, a bar at Herald Square subway station in Midtown, said he noticed on Tuesdays and Thursdays the seats are full and revenue is higher, but on Monday it's a much lighter crowd. So this is just a business owner that's around the subway. Mr. Fox said that it has been easier time finding a seat at a home Long Island Railroad trains, but the hybrid work model is going to be here to stay for some industries. Yes. Yeah. I mean, and look at Amazon. Amazon's getting rid of all of their business buildings. And if you work for them, you're going to be working at home. They said they're saving a lot of money by not having a physical building for people to work in. So they don't have to worry about paying leases and all that stuff. So they're saying the MTA, which besides the subway operating, buses, bridges, tunnels, and commuter trains, received $15.1 billion in federal relief connected to the pandemic. Emergency funding that have helped offset lost fares and kept normal service running. So it looks like it's going to be a lot of cuts in major cities around the country because of such a decline in ridership. And this is really going to hurt the people that heavily depend on that, and maybe some people just didn't change their pattern because they couldn't. But wow, what a difference. So they're having a lot of shortfalls, especially in 2021 and 2022. And they're hoping for growth to fill in the gap at least by 2026, but that's not even a guarantee at this point. But wow, you know, you never think about some of the services out here that have never been the same since the pandemic hit. and they're seeing cuts ahead instead of any kind of growth. So you have to wonder what is going to happen to all of these transit workers as things get cut back. They're going to be, it's not like that's a job you can do remotely. You can't do public transit remotely, not unless you're one of the people that work on the business side. You may be able to do that from home, but the people that got to operate the trains and the buses and everything, they can't do that from home. They have to work. So it looks like job cuts are coming for them. What other choice do they have? So it's going to be tough, but I guess some of us, especially if you don't take public transportation, you can't even imagine how bad it has gotten. But, and they're saying that it has been very dangerous. It's been incidents with people that are homeless and mentally ill, doing things, pushing people onto tracks and all kinds of crazy mess. So you still got to be careful out there, regardless of what time of, what era we're in, and whether it's, you live in a city or not. But wow, I never thought about this being quite so bad, but it seems like it is. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.